Welcome back. You're watching HFO-TV, co-sponsored by AMF Capital, the Baljanik Law Firm, the Butler Exchange Group, and the construction firm J.R. Johnson.
Welcome back to HFO-TV. I'm Greg Frick, partner at HFO Investment Real Estate. And today we're lucky to have Larry Holt, Chief Operating Officer of Columbia River Economic Development Council. They do a lot of work in Clark County and Vancouver, Washington. So Larry, thank you for taking the time. We are not in person, folks. We are doing this remotely. We hope to be together soon here, in the next, who knows, but I love Zoom meetings and they're great, but I do miss interviewing, face to face, but we'll get there sometime soon. So again, thank you for taking the time to meet with us and our audience.
Correct. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
Maybe you could just give, for people that don't know, kind of what is the Columbia River Economic Development Council and kind of what is their scope of work, and then we'll kind of get in, what's changed this year and kind of some big news for for Clark County in the council.
Thanks. I'm Larry Holt, Chief Operating Officer with CREDC. I joined the organization in January, before everything kicked off. Prior to that, I was with Greater Portland, Inc. So I've been working in the Portland metro area for coming up on 5 years now. The Columbia River Economic Development Council is the state certified area development organization. So that's some important state of Washington nomenclature, which all that really means is that, we're the official entity for all things economic development in Clark County. And Clark County is not just Vancouver, it's Camas. A lot of major tech employers over in Camas, great growing community, residential community in Ridgefield that's starting to attract some employment as well, and then Battleground. Just a lot of great communities that we're happy to serve over there, including 2 ports. Our organization, when I say we do all things economic development, that means, economic development is working with existing industry or existing businesses in kind of our key industries, which are computer and electronics. We have a big semiconductor industry, software, a lot of growing software all over Greater Portland, but some really exciting firms there. And then traditional manufacturing as well. So Vigor is a major defense contractor that announced a significant project there about 2 years ago. So it's a great ecosystem, and then we're focused on a couple of up and coming industries in clean technology, like everybody on the West Coast, and life sciences. So, we work to recruit and to work with those businesses that are already there, already here in Southwest Washington, to solve any problems they may have and to help them grow and expand in our community. And really, economic development's about the future, Greg, and I think that's really the critical thing to understand is it a community our kids can work in 20 years from now? So that's a real simple way of understanding what we do.
So from the council standpoint, again, it's just Clark County, so it's not up and down the Columbia corridor. It's really kind of invigorating economic growth. Clark County used to be famous for heavy manufacturing jobs, even in high tech with, HP was up there. So now it's getting more kind of, I don't say spillover from the Portland area, but I think you're starting to see some of those more tech, software, those kind of jobs going across the river and taking advantage of, some of the factors that Clark County provides.
We have a lot of assets there. And I think, Portland was obviously a port city. So this was a really blue collar community, a lot like Pittsburgh 50 years ago. And we've had we've been fortunate that it's also a really highly educated community, and as the economy has shifted and become a more knowledge oriented economy, we've been able to tap into some of that growth with some of those higher skilled positions in Clark County, and that's our entire focus is just Clark County. Just Southwest Washington.
Thank God you got onboarded too before COVID hit. I know that's been a big issue with a lot of companies and bringing employment back is how do you onboard people? Kind of what you see coming in the future, what's kind of big in the works in Vancouver? We've seen the Boise Cascade development, downtown where you've got housing and office and restaurants and some retail. I mean, what other big things are kind of brewing in your world that would be good to share with the audience?
Yeah, so there's a lot going on, and probably the probably one of the biggest business news stories of the past year was the Zoom Info IPO. So that's kind of a company that grew from really like 8 people in downtown Vancouver to literally hundreds. And they acquired a Boston company about a year and a half ago, and this year they did a successful IPO. And I think about that because I think that's connected to all the other things you mentioned, which is great technology story, great startup, tremendous growth, and a big downtown advocate for Vancouver. They have a lot of millennial employees, right? And those employees enjoy being able to walk around downtown for lunch and things like that. And that's just a great success story. And that follows on another IPO in the past few years from Clark County, Enlight, which is a major company within, the sort of the semiconductor supply chain. So they do a lot of photonics work. So really just we're kind of I don't want to say a tech hotbed, but maybe we're punching above our weight. And that's driving a lot of the amenities you were referencing. So, it's really the virtuous cycle, which is, there's more amenities, so more employees to make use of those things during the day, draws more residents because there's more stuff to do, so on and so forth. So we think, and we're certainly working real hard to try and hit that critical mass.
And as you're seeing these companies kind of expand with the IPOs and kind of are we seeing kind of a change and shift in Clark County where there's, people, they're not commuting across, they're living there, they're working there, kind of that was always kind of the thing that younger, hip, millennial kind of, maybe high tech kind of, are they going to live there? I mean, they want to live and work, next to that. And used to always be the thing with Clark County and Vancouver, can you get that? I'm starting to see that downtown. Is that kind of what you're seeing as well? Is now it's become a place where it's not just Portland, it's, it's got all its amenity packages that they're going to want to see.
I think we have it all, I think that's what's so attractive about all of Clark County is, it's not an either or proposition. You can do both. I mean, so there's opportunities to live downtown. There's opportunities to live at the waterfront, one of the biggest mixed-use developments in all of Greater Portland, probably certainly in the time since I've been here, with several thousand units, hundreds of thousands of square feet of new office and lots of retail right on the Columbia River. And then, there's great single-family residential neighborhoods too, up and down I-5, and great schools. So, we kind of think, we're really developing a full-service community. And you asked about those people driving into Portland, and those numbers are decreasing steadily. And we just pulled, kind of the most recent numbers on what those commuters into Portland look like, and it's definitely under 50%. Certainly, a lot going on in downtown, but a lot going on in Hillsborough as well. So there's, we have major employment centers spread throughout the area, but it's no longer the case that if you live in Clark County, you're driving out for work.
Right. Where you used to, if you lived in Clark County and you were, maybe a higher wage earner, you're coming across the river. I think you're starting to see that change. The other interesting thing that we've seen since I remember the early 90s, Clark County kind of had that first expansion kind of east with, the Washougal and Camas and Fisher's Landing, and now you're seeing this growth up I-5 towards Richland. It's getting more diverse in terms of area and where the economic growth is, which is great.
Well, we're really fortunate, and I think that comment's dead on, and we're just and that leaves out some of the stuff taking place north. And I talked about some of the things we do in terms of supporting business, but one of the critical things is supporting people, right? And we are very fortunate to have a 4-year higher ed institution, just north of the city, but in the city limits at Washington State University, Vancouver. And even more, perhaps even, another great development that's just taken place out there is the iTech Preparatory High School, which is a totally tech-focused high school. So, it's a really great story there. And like I said, I think really the key takeaway for me is a range of choices, and a range of development patterns that I think are beneficial to companies and residents.
Yeah, I think with Clark County is the advantages. Well, that does have a sales tax, but there's no income tax. So we've always had the push for retirees. But the other big thing, comparing it to, is the funding mechanism set up for the schools, public schools. I mean, it is night and day difference when you're driving through, Portland public schools versus what you see in Clark County, and kind of the innovation they've done there. And I think, that's been a huge bonus in getting companies, getting employers as another, I want to call it amenity. It's probably more important than amenity, but something that's a big, determinant of where people want to live.
I think I would put it like this is, I'm not saying the school funding or the tax system is the best in Washington, but there's not uncertainty either. And I think that's something businesses care a lot about, which is, hey, and if this tax is whatever, I just want to know that's going to be the tax. And it's, I can throw it in a spreadsheet and forecast for that. And I think, you can control how much sales tax you pay, right? To a degree. So I think there's just a kind of a lot of visibility and certainty with how taxes are done in the state of Washington. And it's proving very attractive to companies from around the country.
How has the pandemic affected, how you guys do your data? I mean, I understand working remotely, but from a council that's, job is to show the benefits of Clark County and getting out there. I mean, I remember we talked when you're with the group for doing the Portland thing, traveling around the country, trying to say, hey, have you looked here? I mean, how are you doing that now? Is it all, like we're doing this now? I mean, how's it kind of changed fundamentally, how you're doing your business?
Greg, we're doing both. We're walking and chewing gum here. This is an unprecedented crisis for small business in this country, and we take it very seriously. And our mission is to support every business in Clark County. So to date, we've given out close to $900,000 in small business grants to support small business, because we were talking about all these great community assets and shops and stuff downtown. That's small business, and we've done as much as we can to help, not just financially, but we've had a series of information seminars where you can call into tax people and understand all the tax implications of, say, the PPP program or the EIDL program, or how to carry losses forward against your income tax next year. We've had direct contacts with over 2,500 businesses doing that sort of outreach work.
Wow.
So we're real proud of that. But at the same time that there's this crisis going on, some industries are actually growing, right? So technology, we live in technology now. So the technology industry is growing perhaps as fast as it's grown in 20 years, just in the past 6 months. So, and healthcare. So we're continuing to see business development and recruitment opportunities around some of those industries, while doing everything we can and deploying as many staff resources as we can to support small business throughout Clark County today.
Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, like I said, it's been a tough year. Between COVID and again, I'm happy we could go outside this week after all the smoke last week. What other things are you looking forward to in 21? Is it, other than just getting back kind of some normalcy, is there a push for the council and specific? We talk a lot about high tech. Is there other industries that are kind of on the radar? Or, where do you see this when we're having this conversation in a year? What's your hope as to, what's changed there? What patterns have continued?
We're seeing a lot of great development patterns. So I think maybe it would be worthwhile for me to highlight three of the main developments I'm looking forward to. So at the end of 21 or 22, I was like, yeah, that development, when it built out, was able to attract a lot of software or a lot of biotech. And so there's three developments like that. The Vancouver Innovation Center is the old HP campus, which is currently in plan review to become this sort of full service mixed use development. And that's more on the eastern side of the city. Our friends at Killian are doing a tremendous development called Convene. Home Depot Quote Center is there. Their sort of software programming center right near Fred Meyer's. And it's a really great sort of mixed use development right to the east of I-5. And then Section 30, which is where Hewlett Packard is now expanding, is 1.5 million square feet campus that's continuing to come online. And of course, all the great stuff at the waterfront. So the development pipeline is, Clark County is going to keep changing, and there are some really generational developments taking place that I think are going to continue to drive business growth and residential growth.
No, that's good to hear. No, that's great. Like I said, we need more. We talked about housing affordability on both, all up and down the West Coast, and I think spurring new development and job growth will help bring some housing. And as we've said before, there just seems to be it's a fact that it's just development in Clark County is definitely in Vancouver a little easier than what we've seen maybe across the river in Portland. And I think now that you've got some of the amenities and job growth and population moving up there, I think you're well situated to take advantage of that.
Well, and I think building's got to be a part of the affordability answer, right?
Yep.
I mean, ultimately, we believe that this is a supply issue.
Yes.
So we've been very fortunate that a lot of new supply in both the multifamily and the single family products has started to come online for us, and will continue to do so. Good.
Well, thanks for taking the time to meet with us today. It was great to get an update. Like I said, hopefully we can get together here soon in person, but if not, we'll do this again, and be safe. And again, enjoy the clean, fresh air that we're missing so desperately the last couple of weeks. This has been quite a year.
I can go outside now. Yeah, we're just we're waiting on the locusts, aren't we?
Exactly. All right. Thanks again. We'll see you next time on HFO TV. Thank you.
Our entire office specializes in multifamily real estate, making HFO the largest multifamily brokerage in the Pacific Northwest. Your success is our passion. Build your legacy with HFO. Call 503-241-5541 or visit our website at hfore.com for more information.